Hey everyone, it's Cash. So Mr. Eaton, there will not be any more seeking stuff in the game. Lottie and I just got really insane in here off the smell of these party poppers. So, I'm really sorry if I've gone into the future.
It's all right.
No, there won't be any Mr. Eaton stuff specifically, but there will be some stuff about maybe Wells. We want to say?
Yes, we will get into some of the background of why what happened to Mr. Eaton happened to Mr. Eaton, I think is the plan.
Woo! Okay,
Sorry.
now you know here. So you all know Cash? Yes.
Hello.
You've all met Cash before. He is one of our writers here at Failbetter. All the people from the IRC say hey. All the people from Tumblr say hey, hey, hey. Yeah, big up yourself. Okay. So this person here keeps asking me about Scintillac. I don't know the answer.
What's the question about Scintillac?
If you can be used to make amazing tea.
I don't know if you'd ever want to drink Scintillac. It's quite expensive. I mean, if you just want to get into the wasting culture, then you can go ahead.
Processing error says, Cash, is it true you've had bard training?
Yes,
what
it
does
is.
that consist of?
I have trained as a balladeer. Don't tell them about the thing. I'm not sure which thing you mean, Chris. Can't be helped. Yes, at my liberal arts college, we had projects we would do with our professors. Every class, we would sit down with the professor at the beginning of the semester, say, here's a particular course of study that I want to adopt on this one little tiny specific thing, and they're like, all right, well, we'll make it into this semester-long, year-long sometimes plan, course of study. And I did 6 months hardcore training in balladeering, where I read all
that?
Sarah Lawrence College.
Okay. And who teaches you, though, to be a balladeer?
In this instance, I just really studied the tradition and studied some of the practitioners. Ian McCall, A.L. Lloyd, and even a few of the other. Joan Baez counts in there.
Okay.
So Bob Dylan continues in his own way. And read, all of the child ballads. It used to be a practice in the middle of the 1800s to go around and just collect ballads as a hobby from, rural villages and collate all of the variations on them you could find. But I studied the tradition and the history and practiced the art myself to try and get a sense of what it was. Yeah.
There you have it. That's how you do it.
Hardcore balladeering, yes.
Oh, yay, everyone says yay, Cash. Red Science.
So nice. Thank you.
I think we maybe will have to pick up on the Red Science a little.
Yes, I can talk a little about the Red Science. It's something that we see throughout both Fallen London and Sunless Seas. So the Judgment set the law, right? Mm-hmm. And Red Science is the really, really awful breaking of the law. These are laws that are not meant to be broken. These are the fundamental cornerstones of the universe, so messing with them gets Judgments quite grumpy. Mm-hmm. You're literally going against their word, I suppose. And they send dragons after you. Time dragons. Time-space doesn't go well. Bad idea. And of course, we like our bad ideas and our content, so that's probably going to be featuring.
If we don't supply you with a steady stream of bad ideas to go for, what would we be doing with our lives? Judgment Scarf.
It is all starry. I do
they
like
enjoy
stars.
this scarf, don't they? They liked it last time as well.
Brought it back for you all.
Oh yeah. So the chat has asked frequently about the discordance.
Yes.
Is that from the story that you
That
wrote?
is from the Persona engine, which is about, how should I say this without giving anything away? A criminally insane mathematician who goes ahead and builds a gigantic, seemingly sentient deference engine, or at least one that he can put written commands and get preordained responses out of. And he has used this machine in order to run calculations no human mind would ever be able to complete in any reasonable time, in order to find out how to subvert the laws of the universe.
Great idea. Another bad idea. We're doing well. So where does the discordance fall into all of that?
Well, the discordance... So the correspondence is the language of the stars. That is what establishes what is. That is... How to say... the laws of the universe. Everything that is determined by the judgments.
Mm-hmm.
But where there is noise, there is silence, and in that silence there is the discordance. There is another language in that silence, which this mathematician has begun to explore and figure out and try to use potentially against... Well, I can't say anything more than that without giving away the rest of the entire season. But the discordance is not quite the language of is not, because that gets into parabola territory, and I don't want to touch that. Don't want to get bitten by an imaginary snake and die. But yes.
Or get popped by a party popper in the face.
Oh, please no.
So we may yet see more of the discordance?
It is eminently possible, yes.
Yes, it is something that we have made it exist. Ergo, we may well use it again. Somebody just asked about sky charts and whatnot, and will we see them anymore? We're not going to be doing any more sunless sea maps. That moment has passed. The sky chart is currently available via the Kickstarter. You can back it, and that edition will be unique to the Kickstarter. If in future we do another print run, we might. Couldn't possibly say when. We've barely got out of the Kickstarter. It will look a bit different. It will have second edition or something not so beautiful and wonderful and sexy on it. It'll still be wonderful, but it just won't be as wonderful. You know what I mean? Okay, what we got here? Oh, discordance. We can't get into lore too deeply, gang, because it's just not as fun to talk about it on a podcast as it is when you discover it in the games. Don't rob your future self of that enjoyment. Okay, what else? Mercy. Lore. This is what happens when I bring in a writer. All these lore questions.
Can't answer them. Won't.
Okay, so where are we? We are at... we're so close to £375,000, dear Lord. 72 minutes to go.
Just a tiny little bit away.
How's it been being involved with a Kickstarter for the first time?
Very exciting. So I think this one's certainly been very exciting for us all. Able to see the numbers shoot up those first 4 hours.
So dramatic.
By the time I was out of my film, it was already done.
Yeah, and that was the funny part, was we were funded in 4 hours and we'd all gone home and gone about our lives because we never in a million years thought we'd get it within a day. Never in a million years thought. And then there we were. So we haven't really celebrated yet. We had lunch this week.
We had a nice lunch.
And after this we're going to go to the pub. Should we just ask him what he can talk about? Yes, okay.
There's technically a lot I can talk about.
Yeah.
I just don't think much of it would be interesting to you.
There's so much going on. Are you working on an exceptional friend story at the moment?
Yes, I am.
Which one is that going to be?
It
is
the one after? The end of the season of Stones about Mr. Songbird and the Valkyrie. It is currently titled Hojo Toho.
Yes! Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm quite pleased with.
Yes, that's an exclusive reveal of the title of Cash's next story. Hojo Toho. Have fun spelling that one. Everybody wants you to sing, Cash.
Okay, I can.
Did you learn a shanty yet?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Actually.
He's learned a song.
I took one of the shanties that was submitted. It's a bit more of a ballad, so it's a bit more in the tradition I'm more familiar with.
Oh, do you remember who it's by?
I can pull it up on my phone.
Yeah. Let's say who it's by before we do anything.
And I tried to put a melody to it. My initial attempts, I figured out quite quickly, were all Molly Malone. So
Molly Malone can creep up.
I changed it. It's by this guy. It's the one that was posted in our love channel where we get all of our lovely things.
Yeah, we use work chat and then we share everything.
This is on Twitter at good_slime_lad. Good slime lad.
He's a good slime lad.
Thank you, good slime lad.
Okay, hit me.
Hang on.
Hit them.
I'm gonna hopefully knock him out so badly that they won't come and tell me how awful I am. So just the one thing real quick worth noting with this as well is that I added a tiny bit of extra verse on the end.
I'm sure they will
So
enjoy
hopefully
that.
that'll go well, and hopefully I won't blank. I'll just keep the last verse on because I don't have that part memorized. So I think it's something like, "Oh, listen, young shavers, and I'll sing you a song. If some tea you will kindly call up, and bank up the fire, and pull your coats higher, the song of the Martyr King's Cup. 'Tis a tale for romantics, for dreamers, for fools, whose quest, like their king, is a waste. For the cup and its call they hold nothing at all. But what if you just had a taste? Say, hey nani nani, hey nani no, we raise our cups, lost king. We toast to thee, to chivalry, to the truth that we know to be. Say, hey nani no, oh hey nani hey, we toast to thee, chivalry. We toast to thee, to chivalry, the glory we all know will see." There you go. Can I do one too?
Go, Cash, go!
Thank you.
Yes! We hit Haley with that one.
Sorry, Haley.
That was so beautiful.
That was all right.
I thought maybe I would get really kind of self-conscious while you were singing, but I didn't. I was just really enjoying it. Bless this bard. Yes, bard class for sure.
Liberal arts paying off indeed. Yeah, I mean they've come in quite handy, the ballads. Where You and I Must Go.
Yes.
Of course, has a line taken right out of my favorite ballad, The Damon Lover. And yeah, as Lottie mentioned, Sauve is a very good, fun, vaguely dirty one, but good time.
Gonna knock out Vales with that voice. Oh, Miss Vales. Yes. Yes, it was worth a bobber. Oh, go! Well, you have to learn another one for another week. We'll have to keep doing Cash's ballad corner.
I can keep on going, but I won't.
Or maybe we'll do one. We'll do one at the end of the campaign, maybe, and we'll all solemnly stand around you, and then we'll just turn it off.
Dear.
Okay.
Could do.
That was beautiful. Oh, okay. What else is here?
Is there any other lore questions? Not lore questions, but lore questions I can.
Or coffee you prefer?
Oh yeah, they've been asking about tea today.
Iced tea.
Yeah. Pariah.
America!
Pariah in our eyes. No
Love
amount
my
of
country.
balladeering could fix that.
That's okay.
Yeah, our little purple hearts. I just love singing. I flipping love singing. I used to sing a lot. I used to sing opera and be in choirs.
did you know?
Yeah.
Didn't know
Not
that.
like
Yeah,
main people. I was in like a Benjamin Britten opera and I was like an animal.
Oh, there you go.
But it was great, and I love mass singing, and I used to go to church and all this business. And now I never really get to sing, so when I'm at home by myself, I sing all the time, and my wife thinks I'm a lunatic. Is there Zoop? Yes, there is Zoop, but not right now. Like today, there'll be cake. It's what celebratory foods.
Somebody's also wondering about the world building, if we sit around one document, or if it's like a chat, or how do we go about that?
Man, yeah, people love this idea of initial world building.
Yeah,
for
where
things
does that
like,
come?
like the Tolkien route, the drawing all the maps and
Mhm.
writing
Yeah.
all the poems of old and whatnot before you even start.
Mhm.
But we don't really do.
I don't think we have the time. We don't have the
No.
luxury.
We have to produce. We have to produce as we go, right? So the content team manage it through a series of complicated documents. Please expound.
Series of complicated documents. So, right now, a lot of the initial world building, as I guess we could call it, is being handled by Chris. He set the regions. He set all of that up, and has been working with the rest of the design team on where to take us in the skies, to the Reach, to Albion, to the Blue Kingdom, and Eleutheria. There we go. The tricky pronunciation. And I mean, some of these things come out of mechanics. Some of these things come out of questions that we asked ourselves early on, and that was a process that all of the writers were involved with, which is what are the questions we're going to put to the player. We saw some of these in the trailer. Who are you in the dark? Stake your claim.
Yeah.
Certain catchwords that we could reflect on and build the content around, and some of those went into the... Each port is built really on those questions and tries to give us, the writers, a guide to what we will be exploring thematically in those individual regions. But now that we are moving more past the conceptual stage and into the outright writing of it, as I think Chris mentioned in the Reddit AMA, which if you haven't looked at is really wonderful. We had a big writers meeting just a few weeks ago where we all sat down with the documents in hand that he'd produced on the different regions and spoke about what we would like to see in them port-wise, character-wise. And I have just started work on first port in Sunless Skies, Titania.
Oh.
In the Reach. I won't say anything more than that because I don't think we
haven't nailed that one down publicly yet. No,
we haven't nailed that one down publicly.
Titania. As in the Queen of the Fairies.
As in the Queen of the Fairies.
So I think the answer about world building is you don't build the entire city and then try and write a story about it. You build some scaffolding. And then you make a building, and the building is the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But with Fallen London, I think now we're in the Fallen London, the game rather
Absolutely.
than the universe. We're more in a position that we are on a train moving forwards, and we're just laying down track all the time.
That's a very good way of putting it. Yes.
Because we know it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the skies are like.
Yeah, there's a lot to be determined in the skies, and that we have been working hard on determining.
Yeah.
And
it's
really
like
exciting.
In a way, it is quite a lot of the
yeah.
work is done already, but we mustn't forget
Absolutely,
how complicated and time-consuming the actual writing process of designing the beats,
Mm-hmm.
then filling it in a little bit, and then refining the writing, and then QA testing it, and all that is still to come.
And it's particularly interesting this time too because we have a few changes in tech that I know we've been speaking about. That I've just started exploring and playing with, and the possibilities that they open up to the content team are incredible. There are entire new mountain ranges that we can see now, entire new designs that have been otherwise impossible. I'm very excited to see where it goes.
We're almost in the last hour.
Happy
Someone
day.
was asking about linguistic quirks like Zoop and Zayla. I think the Zoop Zayla Z thing is specific to the Z.
It is very specific to the Z and the Zayla's traditions.
There are things like the nicknames between the
Tackities and the
Stovies, the stovepipes. There will be. It will come out in the final writing of it. I think some of those linguistic flourishes.
I think they will. As we continue to world build and nail down these factions, it will become evident if they'll be good candidates for having certain quirks like that. But yeah, I think that's one of those things that as you get into the writing of it, they will emerge rather than just
trying to assign everything up front.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
this whole thing about the process.
We haven't determined that there's going to be one group that I'm too excited by looking at the numbers ticking up to think of an example.
One group
really,
that always says "may" at the end of every sentence.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we don't go in thinking like
we
we're
won't
going to do that.
one
That would be great. Also, because that would be really obnoxious and it would read terribly. People are asking much more specific questions about somebody's desperate for a space whale.
Space whale?
I'm not sure we have any space whales yet.
Don't know either.
But when we do, if we do, we will tell you first. What have we got here? Time dragons. Dragons. The Aeginae are dragons, aren't they? I'm not certain about that. What's going on with the Dawn Machine and Sunless Sky's mechanical sun?
Is there a connection there?
Can you make a connection between them?
You will find out.
You'll find out for real.
I know the answer.
Okay, we were very going.
Let's see.
For some reason, we're not getting the very end of these questions on the far side of the screen, Hayley. This is a super long one. When you were at the very beginning of approaching serious entering a game design project, what do you wish your present self could have come back in time? Something, something, something. Motley Crue. Do you mean... I think it just needs to be smaller. We're just working on our chat window, guys. Bear with us. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, person who asked that incredibly long question, paste it again. Time Dragon's been made into tea. Have you all gone Kickstarter mad as well? Please. Okay, 59 minutes to go. We've just broken £375,000.
In less than an hour.
Oh my Christ. So we have less than an hour to go. I think maybe we might get 12,000 backers. Maybe?
It's evidently possible.
It's possible. The numbers are
let's
just
see,
rolling over. It's so intense.
When we were at the very beginning of approaching seriously entering the game design project, what do we wish our present selves could come back in time to tell us?
Keep it simple.
I'm going to try.
No, that's what I tell myself.
Oh, that's what you would do.
I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say keep it simple because you will always the scope will always increase as you think more about the idea, and you will only ever have to then cut it back in order to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So start simply.
Yeah, that's probably the best.
What about when you're starting a story like a personal project or something? What do you tell yourself at the beginning? Or do you just follow the muse?
I mean, it hasn't led me too astray so far.
No.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, the benefit of working with the content team is that any mistakes that we make tend to be mitigated or caught very early, so they don't really turn into anything horrifying.
Yeah.
And
mistakes bloom.
They do quickly, and we have practices in place to stop that. Of course, we do make mistakes along the way. There are pieces of content, individual projects that I would want to go back and say, you had this idea, it didn't work out. If you could have done it next time, but you know for next time. So really, this is my first major project. I've worked on Fallen London, doing a number of small projects. So I don't really say at this juncture that I could say I have one big lesson for major projects, but
I think the lesson perhaps is that when you get to the end, you will always find something you would rather have done differently, and you just do it differently the next time.
Exactly. I mean, own your mistakes, recognize them, because that's how you improve.
And finish things.
Oh God, yes, please do.
Half-finished games aren't games. Finish something, and then you give it to people, show it to people, before you even feel like it's really, really good. Because otherwise you don't learn.
The more feedback you can get, the better your project will almost always be. Listen to the right voices, and when those voices tell you how to improve your title, listen for what the problem is, not what they're telling you the problem is.
Yeah.
The two are often quite different.
Okay, what else have we got here? I'm curious about supremacy. The idea of factions in Sun of the Skies is going to be present in almost all of the regions. It will be a thing where the regions have control from different factions.
That's correct.
So supremacy is not quite the same in the new game, but the same kind of theme. We've talked a little bit, I think, about Parabola in the AMA, so I would go and look at that.
They were wondering if Cash has a favorite ES.
A favorite exceptional story?
Doesn't have to be one of yours.
Tricky. I was once told to always love your own babies the most, though, so it's hard not to.
That's true.
I am a very great fan of Cut with Moonlight, which Chris wrote.
Yeah.
So among those that aren't mine, I think that might be maybe my favorite. Among the ones I wrote, it's still hard to shake Waltz That Moved the World, the first one I wrote, but I am very excited for the Hojo Toho. Maybe that's my favorite, is Hojo Toho, because it hasn't yet become imperfect.
Yeah.
It's still perfect in my head and in my heart.
Gambolling around with Plato in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Trade route. In Sun of the Skies, trading is much improved. It is much more it's much more present. It makes more sense than it did in Sunless Sea. You will be given opportunities and also bargains, so ability to buy a lot of goods at a good price or to sell goods that you have for excellent money. They are slightly randomized and depend on going to different ports, but we'll be saying a lot more about trading in the future updates. Hojoto, yes, exactly.
Hojoto is the battle cry of the Valkyries.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know.
What's the world? Yes. Oh, you've got it. You should play it. What's our opinion about a fully voiced Sunless Sea? Pity the voice actor who has to read all of that.
That's more or less what I was going to say. Is that I don't think we have enough money to convince anyone to ruin themselves so thoroughly by reading
450,000 words of. It is so expensive, and maybe in future we'll write a game with less words or something that we'll be able to voice in some way. But yeah, we are words first.
Let's see. What stories and skies most excited about? I think everybody knows how excited the entire writing team is about the Martyrs Cup, which
was our last stretch goal.
And thank God we met it. I would have been so sad.
Yeah, I was
Otherwise,
tweeting about it like, please let's meet this. The writers won't come in anymore.
The things that we are planning to I mentioned earlier that we have a few new tricks with our tech, and the things that we can do with that in this story, which is about. I mean, it's insane. This quest. I mean, the King's Cup. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. There's no Martyr King. But maybe if everybody tried and believed and, saddled up in cardboard armor and started, using their these and thous, dusted off their old Code of Chivalry books, maybe something interesting could happen. And if you really started to believe that, how would that shape the world and your interactions everywhere you go, maybe?
Yeah.
I won't say everywhere because that puts a lot of trouble on us. But
What happens when your belief is so powerful that it changes your worldview?
Yeah.
It's really exciting. When your content winds up on the cutting room floor, do you save it for personal projects or a journal of lost ideas, and does it become your IP? We don't really cut things in that way.
I mean, it's not cut in that capacity. I mean, usually what's cut is certain lines I really, really like, or certain. So I this is more of a joke. But I once had a character that I wanted to try and sneak past, who was the hoary porter.
Oh, yes.
Who was way too good for this world and immediately killed.
Yeah, not only a pop culture reference, but also a pun. Oh, no.
A little bit. But yes, the storylines that I have proposed have almost, I don't think, really ever been shut down. They've been worked into Fallen London in one capacity or another.
Yeah, we seldom waste anything. Mm-hmm. We don't have the time to completely throw out a whole pitch unless something really, really tragic happened. Somebody, what was it just saying about...
I saw Miss Vales ask a question, if there are space windmills. No, there are no space windmills, there are only space giants, is my response to that.
Is there anything similar to Seeking Mr. Eaton? Wow, we have had that question a lot. It seems to be something that people are really... Actually, it came up in the AMA a lot as well. The similar, yes. Seeking, though, is contained within Fallen London and is complete. Hoary Porter, yeah, he had to die. Sorry. I'm glad that people are excited about the Martyrs King's Cup. I'm so glad that we got it in. Honestly, you should have seen the content team, the writers going like, and what if? And it was really nice because we don't often get to just throw out, just go nuts on ideas.
Got exciting. Very quickly. As soon as Chris introduced I made a small tweet about it. Chris did say, actually, I'm going to bring cash in on this now. What if we put a Cervantes angle on this? And
You were like, yep.
what if we did?
Bring it. Someone says, what about localization? We would love to localize something in the future, but the way that we make these games and the volume of words, the specifics of the language, we would have to... it would be extremely expensive, extremely time-consuming. We would have to hire people internally to manage it with a very, very experienced and expensive translation agency. It is not going to happen for this game or for Sunless Sea. But again, we really like to think that we are a studio who are all about stories, and the words that we choose, it doesn't always have to be about the volume of them. In fact, we're always cutting words. We're always trying to make our games more succinct. So in future, if we make something that is more succinct and finite, something that isn't always going to be updated, something that just goes out by itself, we would love to consider localizing something like that. And it's not completely off the table at all. It's something that we really want to try, because we want more people to be able to play our games, basically.
See a question up there. Do I have a personal project that is publicly accessible? I had 2 Twine games I applied to the company with that I've kept hidden and will probably keep hidden. But I'm working now. I have ideas for larger projects. Of course, all of us do.
Yeah.
Going to start working on a novella at some point. But right now, to answer your question, I will be working on an essay to hopefully save the soul of my country.
It's like
God,
the Federalist Papers 2017 edition.
A little bit.
Haley's putting 2 thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up, Haley. Hope forever.
Hope forever. This is
So
Cash's
I'm
motto.
going to keep working on that, and that will be publicly accessible. And then one day I'll get on to fun novellas.
And you're working on Cash and Sam's game.
Oh, that's correct. I'm working on Sam's game Over the Alps, which is a mobile game set during the Second World War in neutral Switzerland, where you are playing as a spy. Your grandchild reading through the letters, and it's very exciting.
It is very exciting, beautiful looking game being made by Sam Partridge, who is one of our developers. So it's a twofer, 2 Failbetters on one project. Oh, that's right. Someone said if we had a Nethi moniker, if we had an adjective noun, what would they be? We sort of do this on our website. We try and... I am an ebullient Technicolor lady on our website. So I think probably...
Technicolor's good.
Technicolor's quite fun.
That's pretty good. Can't remember
the ebullient
mine.
goon.
I think I'm the romantic and can't remember.
Can't remember your other one.
It starts with a D. Venerative? Was it something like that? Venerative doesn't start with a D after all. Not even close. Opposite ends of the alphabet. Yes, I'm romantic and venerative apparently.
Oh, venerative, Lord.
Venerative.
But what you would be like the romantic American?
I'll take a romantic American any day.
Capital R, capital A.
I guess I would be in Fallen London.
Yeah, and it's
That
2
would
things
be
that
enough
I think
to-
of. 2 things that I think that you are proud of about yourself, that you are a romantic and
Fair
that
enough.
you are of the US. Oh, everybody keeps asking us about the Switch. It's just because it's coming out this week. Please don't make our producer cry.
The Switch is the first Nintendo console that I have not day one pre-ordered since the
Cash, what's
N64.
What has happened
I
to you,
moved
mate?
over to this country and I thought, oh, it's something I don't know. Gotta get my Zelda hit though. Gotta get into that Hyrule world. It's been too long.
I have been told to smack anybody who says that we're going to put it onto the Switch for at least the next month, and then we'll think about it later. But there are other consoles that we would go to first. The Romantic Colonial. Yes,
That's
that might be
pretty good.
quite good actually. Yes. Okay, so it's 44 minutes to go. Good Lord. I will request that you fetch Barry for me.
Barry, I will do so.
Everybody say bye and thank you to Cash.
Goodbye.
Fantastic value today with the
I am
singing.
happy to have been. Oh, good.
Good job, Hannah. Thank you, Lottie. I will smack everyone who wants it on the Switch. Lottie told me I could.
Glad I was able to return after my poisoning last time. Thanks again for that.
It's not you that's been poisoned. It's one of them.
It's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was just coincidence then. Good to know.
So we will say adieu to Cash until next time. Remember that these podcasts will come back after the Kickstarter, probably not as frequently, maybe 2 weekly. So this isn't the last that you will see of Cash. Thank you.
See you, everyone. Hope forever.
Hope forever.
I'll go grab it.
Thank you. Okay, so we are within 45 minutes of the end of the Kickstarter.